Hey guys, instead of trying to look back in the videos and pick out where those pieces are, I thought I'd do a very quick overview of some of the topics we talked about when we met that pertain to the Skills USA competition. And one of those is to create these door and window schedules. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the doors and the windows have tags on them. Well, there's room tags too, so let's do that first. In the architecture tab, I'm just going to go ahead and click on room, and then I can come into this room right here and click, and then come over here to this room, kind of straighten it up and click. Okay, now I'm going to use my escape key to get rid of the command and go back to like nothing happening. The room separator would be if I had two separate rooms, I could draw this line that represents the two separate rooms here. And then when I go to bring in my room titles, see only that part is going to be um, in place, and then this part as well, because the separator separates the rooms. Now, the thing about these room tags is that when you click on it, you can go over here, select it, and pick edit type, and then decide on whether you want to put the room number on there or not. You might just decide not to put the room number on there, and there it is. Or you can show the area as well. Of course, another way of doing that if you're in a hurry is you can go to annotate, and in the annotate tab here, we can go to text. And when you go to text, you'll see the whole ribbon changes. And this is where you have just plain text, where you can draw a little box there, and then change the uh, the height over here. So once it's placed, or even before it's placed, it's highlighted. You have this drop down. You can change the text height in this part right here. You can sometimes you have to press apply in order for it to go, or get out of it and select it, and then go back and change it. There it goes. So if you needed a completely different text height than what's here, then we would then go back to that idea of going into the text like this, highlighting a text, go to edit type and pick duplicate. And let's say that this is going to be my 1/8 inch, because I need an 1/8 inch text. And that's just the name of it, because I'm duplicating it to create another one. And then here, this is where you want to change the actual type text to 1/8. And now you've created your own text height. See, it's a little bit bigger. And now you've got a new one here in the drop down. You can change it if you like, to that new text. But remember that the text height is a direct link to the scale at the bottom left corner. So if I change the scale, it's right now an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 of an inch, because the drawing might be smaller. Then you can adjust it to whatever scale at the bottom left corner. Okay, so it's all about tags, and that's what these are. And you can get in here and select it and click on it and call this something else, bedroom. Um, I guess I should really do this so that we can create a legend, a color-coded legend, a color-coded, yeah, legend. So let's just say that this is the living room, real basic, and this is the kitchen. I still have those room tags, but you could also use text. And in fact, you want to use text in order to show them all the different notes that you want to put on there, to show them that you know what you're doing and that you didn't miss anything. So as far as tags go, it's under annotate. Let's see if there might be something in here. No, yeah. I think it's better to go to annotate. And here's tags. Tags by category or tag all. So either way, if I go tag by category, then you can take a look, and when you get close to the window, it will have a number, and I can tag these two windows like that. And then the door can have a tag too. You see how there's the different symbols, and right now they have a leader line. You see over here under properties, there's a leader line there. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, take that check mark out of leader line and pick apply. You see now it goes without the leader line. Mine by default had this long leader line. I don't like that line. So I'm going to click on it, take the check mark out. When I was placing it, it had a check mark under leader, so you can kind of like check that out. Same here. And this is all has to do with what it looks like, these door tags. Oops, I didn't change the number yet because it's supposed to be automatic, that you don't have to change the number. And take this off here and move this one down. So now I can go to the View tab and go to Schedules. And in here, there are all these different schedules that you can make, but that top one is really going to create quite a few schedules and quantities. And then you have these different categories that you can look for. And you could filter the list to the different disciplines to get a shorter list, but I can see doors right there. So this is going to be called the door schedule. So I'm going to highlight doors, it's door schedule. I'm going to go ahead. The phases, new construction, I can go ahead and pick OK. Now, this is where we have to decide on what we want in our schedule. So we're going to pull everything we want over to the other side. So now we have this list of things that we can decide on putting into our schedule. And this is just one example of the Stewart residence that I gave you guys. It has the mark, which is like the number that's on it, the size of it, the type, the material, and the remarks. But each one is a little different. So, looking at this one, we can look for a mark and highlight it. And then over here, we're going to click on add the parameter. So, this is the order in order that it will go. So the next one is going to be, this chart shows the thickness first, but I've seen it as width and then height and then thickness. So you can take a look at some door schedules, and I'll probably talk to you about that as well. So width is usually first right there. And then I'm highlighting it, and then I'm picking this button here to put it over there. So there's width and height, and you see it takes it out of this list. And then thickness, and we have a type and a material and a remarks. So there's the type. Let's see, I think that we can add more afterwards, but I always have, I don't see materials in here, but I think it's something else. Frame material, let's see, we'll add it afterwards. And so I always put comments or some kind of remarks column to add to the note. So it's usually comments, right? So we'll take a look at what that actually gives us. You can change the formatting here with these tabs, or you can change it once you create it. So if you needed to filter out specific things, and not usually for a door schedule, if you need to sort it by specific materials, we can come back to this here. Itemize every instance, so that means that every door will be shown instead of just one of each kind, or one for all of them. So it depends on how you want it to look. But the formatting is what we just did, but you can format it so that it's in the fields or the cells. Same. We'll come back to this as well because I want you to actually see it, and then changing the text. So I'm going to go ahead and pick OK, and it should end up right here. It becomes another view for you that you can drag onto your sheet later on. So here's the mark, the width, the height, the thickness, and that's coming all from the family. So the information is coming from the door itself. I think the type we might want to change. So coming over here, you can come over to formatting. And this is where you can decide to change it over, fields, the fields that we want. So maybe we didn't want the type. So I didn't need description, so I want to show you that you can highlight this and pick the red arrow to put it back on the list. And then this one needs to go up. It's actually family. That is the type of the door. And then down here, you can use these arrows to move it up to where you need it. There. So it was actually family that is going to tell you that it's a single flush door, whatever the type is. So it kind of looks the same. It's got the mark, the width, height, thickness, type, the family, and then remarks or comments. And this is how you create a door schedule, similar to it, and it becomes, like I said, another view over here under schedules in the project browser. So there it is if you ever wanted to go back to it, or you can use these tabs to go back to that door schedule. So this is just a really quick introduction to it. We can come back to some of the details. I took out the type, but this is where you build it. You build it under your fields right here. Bring these over here, and there's still all different ways that you can have a door schedule. The other thing is the appearance of it and the formatting. So let's say you wanted to have all of these formatted so that they were centered instead of like to the left side. So I highlighted the top one, then I held my shift key down and highlighted this bottom one. Shift key will highlight all of them, or control to highlight one or two. And then I'm going to change my alignment to be center. And when I do that, let's see what else I can change here. Probably not too much more. And I pick OK. You see how it kind of like centers it in place so that it looks kind of nicer. All right, so now that becomes a schedule. So now I can go back to the plan here and take a look at my windows. So the first thing that and I'm sure everyone will want to do, is to come in here and try to change the number. And this would take it away from the information about the window. So what I want to do is click on the window itself and come over here inside the window, properties, and pick edit type. So then when I scroll down, I can see that there's a type mark right there. So there's the type mark for that window, which is 18. So if I want to change that to 1 or 2, I can put a 1 there under type mark and pick OK. And now so now I can go ahead and pick OK, and it just told me that there were other windows that were the same, but that's okay. Because if I have a different window, I could put a different number in there. So maybe I should do that. So these two windows are the same all around. I'll go over here and pop in a different window. that's here. Maybe a casement window. Just gonna, as a matter of example, throw this one in here. And now I need to, give it a tag. So you can go to annotate and tag by category. Tag all would do all of them, but by category, I can go in here and click on this one and say it's 17. But again, I want to be able to give it a different number. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the window, different window that I'm using. I'll edit type, scroll down and change this 17 to 2. So now I have all of those that are that type are going to be 2. So now I'm ready to create a window schedule. I can go over to the View tab, go to Schedules and Schedule Quantities, change my category to Windows right here. Windows Schedule, that's the name of it. Click OK. And again, same idea. We're able to then bring in all that the window is about. So it's the mark, the size, the type, all of that, and the remarks. So just going to do the same kind of thing here. There's the mark. I'm going to go ahead and bring that over. There's the width. And the height. These are kind of hard to find, but they're in alphabetical order. Family. Let's take a look at family and type. Let's see the difference between those two. I haven't really created these in a long time. And then comments right there. And then see what it looks like. All right, there it is. See, I'm going to take a look. There's not a big difference, is there, between family and family type? The family actually is the type of window. So we can go back over to your fields. And that's the good news, is even after you've created it, you can start to decide to take these out. That's my cat snoring right by the speaker, so I hope you can't hear him too much. There it is there. All right. So now you've got all these different things. You can actually change this to type. It's usually capitalized, so I'd probably come in here and change all of these to uppercase. Just, I don't know, just show them that you know what you're doing. And that's usually what it looks like. Capital letters. And then again, you can go underneath format and decide on it being centered. And if you want to change other things about it. Okay, we'll come back to being able to pull from that. I just wanted to show you how to do it. And so now there's another schedule. All right, going back to the plan. Maybe you've got some dimensions on here. And now you're ready to create a color-coded plan. The color-coded plan is really a representation of this plan. So over here under floor plans, we don't want this to be our color-coded plan because it would take away from the construction plan that it is, or design. So on your floor plan that you're going to rename, you can come over to duplicate view, and if you duplicate with detailing, it'll take all of your dimensions and your text with it. So you want to kind of get your floor plan all in place, and then pick duplicate with detailing. And if you notice here, it creates a copy. It creates a copy of all the annotation and things that you have in place, so you can right click now and rename this as color coded plan or floor plan, whatever they ask you to do. That's your color coded plan. So the way to create a color coded plan is first to apply the colors, and to get to that, it's about the view. So we want to go to properties and look at this color scheme. It says here none, so I'm going to click on none. And then what we're going to do is change the categories to rooms, because we want the color coded plan to be based on rooms. And then room names. So based on room names, here are my room names. These are the colors. Now they're going to give you default colors, but you can change here each one of these colors if you wanted to. Just click on it and change the color depending on what you want to do. And then when you apply it and pick OK, those are your colors. Now, like I said, you can change the color if they ask you to. Well, once you get that and you get your different colors in place, you can always go back over here to the color scheme and properties and change it here. So it's usually there's a place to go back to change it. And then you can go to annotate, and under annotate, there's the color filled legend. So you click on color filled legend under annotate and give it a minute, and you'll have your legend that you can click, and now it's in place, and it becomes its own view. It becomes its own view that can be brought into your drawing. So they're going to probably ask you to color code it for a specific thing. Maybe by room, but it could be private and public spaces. Who knows? Just now you know how to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and go down to sheets and right click and pick new sheet, and then the only sheet by default is this 30 by 42. I don't think they're going to ask you to get that one. They're going to probably ask you to use a 24 by 36. It really depends on what the scope of the project is and what they want you to put on the sheet. So you might be able to use this one, but I would customize your own. In fact, they want you to have a sheet that only has a border and your number at the bottom right corner. So if you pick load, you may or may not have, like I don't have direct access to all those title blocks. So we'll have to put those together as external families to make sure they're in your computer so you can go to get them without having to go on the Autodesk website. Like for instance here, I have to go to insert and pick load Autodesk family, and then scroll down to title blocks in order for me to bring in the 22 by 34, which would be like the 24 by 36 that they might ask you. We can load it, and now that it's loaded, when you go over to sheets and right click and pick a new sheet, it's loaded. There it is, so we can use it. What we probably want to do is go into that sheet and customize it so it's already done. But I'll go ahead and pick OK. Here's the default sheet that's 24 by 36. If you want to do it right here, you can. I can double click on the title block, and what it does is it takes me out of the drawing and into the sheet. See, there's nothing there. So what I want to do is just take all this out. You can have then a border with this one piece right there that you can actually move this over a little and down so it's like in the corner. Just make sure it's on the plotted PDF. So you have that field down there, and now I can save it. You can go here and actually save it. File, save as, family, and put it anywhere. You can put it in your documents, create a folder for that. You can see I have a lot of families already there. But there's that one outside of the Autodesk um, website folders. So now I can load it and close it. I don't need to keep it open. And now I want to override the existing one and its parameters. Just catch it all. There it is. So at this point, because I loaded it, I can come over here and double click on this, and then this is going to be your student number, whatever it is. Could be it's just going to be a series of numbers. And now you've got your sheet. This one is the 24 by 36. And probably uh, would then have that as a name of it. That's what it is in the folder. So now that I have the sheet, I can bring over, I want to rename level 1. So you know this already, to be like first floor plan or whatever they ask you to do. And yes, we want to rename other things like the ceilings and that. Be careful here. We don't want the ceiling plan. I always kind of close that one down. So first floor plan, I'm going to hold my left mouse button down, drag it over here, and then click. You might not actually see it because it might be completely off the screen, but you see these markers are on, so that's how big the view is going to be. So I need to double click inside this box, and now you see where I'm at. This is sort of like that paper space over in AutoCAD where you're inside the sheet of paper, but you're really actually in the view because you double clicked. See how the border is gray? So now I'm going to click on one of these elevation markers, right click, and go to hide in view category. All those are going to disappear. Now I can double click in here the sheet of paper and get back to it. So it's going to depend on the scale also. I'm not sure what scale they want you to use. This is an 1/8 inch. If I want to go back in the sheet, I'm going to double click. But you see how small the viewport is? Now see how small the view box is? It's smaller now because we took those annotation little tags out. We didn't delete them. We just hid them. But if I double click here, it brings me back into the sheet. You could actually just go over to the view as well. But this, you can see now that you can see that like you have access to the scale at the bottom left corner. I can change that to a 1/4 of an inch. I'm still in the view, so I'm going to double click outside of the view so that I can pull this over into my drawing. Now you see what happened there? I uh, lost my title off the screen because it's way down here. So this is kind of a strange thing. You have to select the plan once in order to get to this line. You see this little grip? To pull that over, the title. Then click off of it and click just the title, not the viewport, so that you can hold your left mouse button down and pull that over into place, and now you have the title. So at this point, you're ready to just pull all these over. You've got the door schedule, which is going to be right there. And then you come over here and hold your left mouse button down. And you come over here and you put your window schedule here. And as you add more doors and windows, this is going to update automatically for you. And then you can actually bring your color-coded plan in here as well. Again, we have to do a couple of things here. We have to double click inside the view so that we can click on these elevation markers, right click and go to hide in view category. And we also have to change the scale. Potentially, they're going to tell you it's going to be a quarter of an inch. I have to double click out of the viewport, out of the view, so that I can come over here and grab this color coded plan. It was like right on top of the other one. There it is. You can even use your little arrow keys, the arrow keys to kind of position it a little bit better, kind of line it up. Again, I did lose my title over here, so I have to click on the view and make this title line smaller. Maybe you like the longer title line. That works. Depends on what you like. I don't, but preference. Click off of it, click on the title, and drag it up here. You see, you get those little hidden lines that show you that it's lining up with the other one, which is kind of nice. All right, so that kind of shows you that you have these views that are on your sheet. There's the viewport. When you go close to it, you can see they're like boxes. And as you update your drawing, this sheet is updating and giving you the names. You see how the names of these plans are based on the names of the views? So there's kind of a direct link to them. All right, I think that gives you a lot of useful information to get started with. Like I said, I'm going to create another video for the other topics that we're concentrating on, but let's get started with those. See if you can pull for your information on your laptops or on a flash drive the ADA requirements from the codes. A lot of that stuff is inside the Michigan Residential Code, which the current one is 2015. I did have a link to it in your Design 2 class. I can give that to you again. I think I might have tucked that away in one of the emails as well. All right, then. Keep in touch with me. We're going to try to meet this week so that we can move forward, or weekend. We'll talk about a good time, or individually we'll figure it out. But now is your turn to watch the video, go through it, kind of check out door and window schedules, see what those columns mean. There is another way of creating another second line in the schedule. Um, I'll get back to those details as we move forward. Okay, cool. Good luck and keep in touch.